Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend, got all of your fun stuff in, or if you had to work, hopefully you got in all of that money, made your bank, and now we are on to the weekend. It's a beautiful day out. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the lawnmowers are cutting, the edgers are trimming, and everything is looking beautiful out there today. I'm your host, as always, Tyson TRL Business Time. With me, my good friend and repping his Florida State Seminoles today, Jeffrey off of the Schneid. Jeff, how are we doing today, my friend?
I'm tired, man. I'm tired. Just like I bet anybody who's in the service industry this past weekend, we know we went to war. We went to war all weekend, folks. It was out there. We were taking, we were in the trenches, taking grenades. It was no joke. So if you made it through this weekend without getting sent home or suspended or quitting or flipping out on a guest, congratulations to you. You know what? Keep in mind, what does not kill you makes you stronger. All right, and nobody can break you. All right, keep your head up. All right, it was a great weekend. I had the pleasure of being able to spend a little bit of time with my moms, who mean so much to me in my life. My mother-in-law, my mom, myself, and then my wife. We had a chance to go to the old stomping grounds over at Boathouse at Disney Springs and have a beautiful brunch with great hospitality, great food. It was a little bit of a wait, which is okay. You got to expect that. If you're going to go out on a holiday, all right, and you want to be part of the experience that I ask, bring your patience with you, please bring your patience.
Piers Jeffrey's having a few connection issues, but we got it in there. He is now unfrozen and ready to go. Absolutely. We got the majority. Yeah, we got the majority of it. Please be patient. And for those of you who don't know that work in the restaurant industry, these holidays, especially Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, the day that you guys all think, hey, I don't want to take the burden on of cooking this dinner. Let's go out and celebrate. Well, you and about 50,000 other people in the same town have that exact same idea and all want everything right then and there. But as service people will tell you, we're doing the best that we can. And there are some times where, things get a little out of control. But you know what? It is what it is. Let's just sit back, have another cocktail, relax, and enjoy. Right?
Yeah, relax, enjoy. Bring your patience with you. Obviously, we want to take care of your mother and everybody who's there. But you just got to, be cognizant of the fact that, listen, if you come to a dinner, you're not getting out of there in 45 minutes.
Absolutely.
If you wanted a 45-minute service, there are tons of places that you could have taken your mom to get in and out. Okay?
Absolutely.
This is about spending and fellowshipping and having time and spending quality time with your mother, who you love and you care about and you want to show a great time to. Do not come into my restaurant and think that you're going to get in and out in 45 minutes to an hour.
I don't think anybody expects that for you, right? At your place. Now, Boathouse maybe differently.
I was sitting there at Boathouse yesterday afternoon, and I'm looking around, and like it was
uncontrolled chaos.
It was exactly, and it
usually
was
I'll say controlled chaos,
but nobody was happy, bro. Nobody was happy. Like, not a server, not a guest. Nobody was like boosted about what was going on, except for me. Because I came in with where my expectations should have been.
Because
people
absolutely.
have unreasonable expectations sometimes. That's all I gotta say. Shout out to all the moms.
Justice took my mama to McDonald's for brunch, but the ice cream machine was broke.
It always broke. Justice, bro. I text you multiple times.
We're getting to you, buddy. Usually. Yeah. I'll tell you, usually, I get into myself in here and we get it going, but, there was a little unusual circumstances this weekend, and, I'd like to bring in Jeremy for a minute. Jeremy, are you there, buddy? We'd like to bring you in for the show here for just a second.
I'm here.
Good afternoon. Good morning, I guess. I happened to see a few things here, and I just how was your weekend, Jeremy? It looks like you had a really good time out there this weekend. I'd just like to check in with you and give you a little screen time here, and how'd that weekend go?
My weekend was fine. In the service industry, I was not grinding this weekend. I had Friday and Saturday off, which is my days off now. And then yesterday, my on-call shift was not used, so I had a nice 3-day weekend.
Really nice. Anything that you did? Any plans? Were you out and about?
Played about 14 holes of golf with our good friend Chris Shea until the rain hit, and then got to go to the Gaylord Palms and for an event and have some prime ribs, some mac and cheese, and
really
Gaylord played some craps.
Gaylord's always a great event. What was the event over at the Gaylord?
It was just their employee appreciation event that they had.
Oh, okay.
For a friend of mine.
Oh, a friend of yours. Really nice to hear. Very nice to hear. Well, I'm glad you had a good weekend.
Did he tell you his crap story?
I did not. Let's hear it. I hope it means craps, not crap.
Craps.
Okay, good.
Craps.
They had the little Vegas themes. So I'm a craps player. I have been since I lived in Vegas 20 years ago. I love playing craps, and there was some. They gave you like $300 in free chips, and just sitting there having some beers turned $300 into $15,000, and the guy, like, one of the dealers was looking at me like, he's like, bro, and everyone's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. This is just how I play craps. And they're like, oh, okay.
Okay, note to self, we're taking Jeremy to Vegas.
Do you play craps, Tyson?
Yeah, I do. I don't know how to, but I do.
I don't know how. I've never played craps in my life. And for somebody who considers himself an analytical person and loves numbers and odds and betting and stuff like that, it's something that I've never done. I've always wanted to learn to do, but I haven't had the pleasure of participating in yet. So we got to figure it out.
Well, let me give you a crash course here. Play the pass line, right? And I always play 6, 9, and all the hard ways. And then I don't know what the payouts are. I just say press it until it gets to an amount, and then I start taking money back. But yes,
always press your odds behind the pass line. I always do at least 1.5 odds behind the pass line. Play all the hard ways. Sometimes I like to play a little inside straight, which is the 6, 9, 10 exactly.
See, there he goes. I always like to throw out the $1 yo 11 on. I just like saying it and throwing it, and it's like, if they roll an 11 off the roll, like the initial roll, it's like 30 to 1 or something like that. Works out pretty good, but I just like yelling yo 11 and throwing something. But no, I don't really know it as well as Jeremy does. Maybe he can give us a tutorial one day when we all take the uninformed fan out to Vegas for a nice little weekend. Maybe for March Madness.
Madness next year.
Absolutely. My weekend was good. Got up this morning.
Yeah,
I had a good weekend. It was pretty nonchalant. And Justice also said you texted him at 1:00 in the morning, asking him.
I texted him at 10:38 this morning saying, "Are you doing anything this morning?"
Well, I mean, again, that's a 20-minute intro time, but yes. But he also said you texted him at 1:00 in the morning.
It's 12:58. Sorry, some of us are busy servicing your mothers.
Some people have kids. Oh, I just caught that. We're going to move right on. Anyway, so today's a busy day. I got a lot of stuff going on. So I got up early today, took the dogs on a nice 3-mile walk, and then went to the gym. Had a great workout. Feeling good. Came home, had a little eggs, ham, cheese, quick shower, and then boom, we're right here in front. But one thing I noticed at the gym today, and I kind of want your guys' opinion on this. And I think, Jeff, you've had a personal trainer before, correct? Okay.
Shout out to Fitprint.
If you sign up for a personal trainer, right? Yes. And you walk into the gym and your personal trainer is significantly overweight, does that affect your mindset at all?
Yeah.
I looked over today and this lady, middle-aged lady, was having a workout by an employee at said gym who is significantly overweight. We're talking full-on beer belly. We're talking needing a man's ear. And I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm this person working out and I'm looking at this guy that's telling me how to work out. Now, great, I'm sure he probably has a sports, physical, whatever degree or has, the knowledge. And I'm not saying that he's not a certifiable trainer and doesn't know the things that he needs to do in order to get you in shape. But why are you not doing it? I don't think I could ever do that. I really don't. I think that would be a one and done.
My mom used to always say something to me. She goes, "What you do speaks so loud that what you say I cannot hear." Right? So if I'm getting some kind of advice from somebody, I would like for them to be living the advice that I'm getting from them.
Right?
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's like taking financial advice from somebody that's on food stamps or welfare or, somebody that's struggling. But yet they have a wonderful investment advice for you, right? It's just like, no, why would you?
I think there are probably very smart, talented people who might not be coming from affluent places of being able to have the exact same means to be able to throw around in terms of investment banking, but they could have a smaller, smaller nut, as they call it, to be able to grow and show you X amount of growth over a certain period of time.
Jeremy says we're fat shaming here on the Uninformed Fame. If you want to call it fat shaming, I mean, I'm not the one that's going to tell up here and tell you Lizzo is, the poster child of women or anything of that nature. But we're talking about somebody that his actual profession is healthcare, because that's how I would put it. It was also it'd also be the same thing as me, is like when you go into a hospital and you go to see a doctor and you go out and look out back and they're all out back smoking cigarettes, right?
What's wrong with smoking cigarettes?
Because it kills you, literally kills you. There's nothing beneficial out of smoking a cigarette for your body. And these are healthcare professionals that are out there smoking cigarettes. That was one of the things that always got to me. But yeah, if you're a personal trainer,
you wonder, huh?
And you're significant. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I understand your argument. And listen, personal training is not a cheap thing to be a part of. That's the reason I don't do it anymore. Is just because it's a little pricey. And sometimes, when you're trying to make moves in your life, there are certain parts of financially that you have to shore up and figure out. And so that was one of the things that I had to cut bait with. But I will say the time that I spent at FitPrint, I think at one point I lost 25 pounds in a month. Now, did that have to do with, my trainers? A part of that, absolutely. But it was also self-discipline of saying, you know what? I'm not going to drink beer. We're Fireball this month. I'm not going to eat any sweets this month. I'm going to cut carbs this month. I'm going to eat straight protein and try to eat lean protein, whether it be turkey instead of eating ground beef, different things like that I was able to figure out what I was putting into my body and completely, change it over time. But it was about my own self-discipline. They can lead you to water. They can't make you drink.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to your point, that's all it is. It's self-discipline. There's so much stuff on the internet now, and you can pretty much figure out any workout you want for free on the internet, but you have to have the self-discipline to go. And a lot of people don't have that self-discipline to start with, which is why they get a trainer, because if they're going to spend $100, they're going to go show up. Right. And so I don't know. It was just a little something I saw this morning, kind of just as I'm over there doing my stuff. I'm just like, things that make you go,
Talk to somebody like JC. I know JC listens to the show, and he's probably the most ripped person that I know, and works out religiously. And just be interested to see his thoughts on that.
We're talking about Mr. Buccaneer.
Try to reach out to him. Yeah, my boy over there,
Mr. Buccaneer.
I got to see him yesterday when I was in the establishment, and it was a tough one for a lot of people yesterday. Don't miss.
Oh, no comment. No comment. So, moving on. moving on. So, we did have a lot of NBA action over this week since we are gone. NHL action. The conference finals are set. The Celtics, we'll talk about it last night first since it's still fresh on the break. The Celtics take down the 76ers and the MVP of the league, Joel Embiid. Jason Tatum absolutely just torches, goes off on fire. James Harden doesn't show up. Embiid had a rough game as well. Maxey was kind of non-existent as well. I was talking to my father-in-law about this, who is a big Boston fan. And he told me, I said, how do you feel about this game? Because I saw the line was 6.5, but then I saw it moved to 6. So there was a lot of stuff coming in on Philly. And he said to me, he goes, the Celtics are going to blow them out. I'm like, oh, okay, let me hear it. And the literal words out of his mouth that says Jason Tatum has been absolute not Jason Tatum this entire series. The law of averages, as somebody always tells me, the law of averages are going to overcome itself. Jason Tatum is going to show up in Game 7. He's going to take over the game, and the Boston Celtics are going to blow out the 76ers. And of course, me being the pessimist that I am. And I was like, well, he could also not show up again, just like he has not shown up for the majority of the game. But lo and behold, he showed up, and they just absolutely dismantled the 76ers. But there was times in the first half I wrote the Celtics off. They just didn't look good. You know, a lot of plays weren't going. But then all of a sudden, Al Horford turns back the clocks and just puts down some lockdown D. The Boston Celtics, the rest of them, fed off of him. And boom, they played some of the best defense I think I've seen in any NBA Finals so far this year. That they locked them down. The 76ers are going home. We're going to talk about a little bit of speculation about that. But wow, what a game from Tatum and the Celtics.
It started in the fourth quarter of last game, right, when we thought that Philly was about to wrap this thing up and it was over. And then Philly thought they had it wrapped up. Jason Tatum's like 1 of 14. All of a sudden, he hits 4 threes in like 3 minutes. And then the game was over. And then you come back into this game right here, picks up right where he left off, shoots the lights out. They 33-10 in the third quarter, and the game was over. So to your father-in-law's credit, yes, Jason Tatum played very well. Philly, in my opinion, was the way better team in the first half, enforced their will on everything that they did. And then all of a sudden the third quarter happened, an onslaught of threes come. Jaylen Brown can't miss. Jason Tatum can't miss. I think I even saw Malcolm Brogdon make a shot, which is pretty insane.
Who's been playing well over the series. He's actually been playing pretty well for his expectations.
Sure. Listen, obviously I'm bitter. I'm upset. I had Philly to go to the NBA Finals as well as Golden State. Neither of those things happened. So, it sucks. Like, especially when I made the call back in February at the All-Star break, or whenever it was. I was like, oh, I'm telling you, Philly's going to win the NBA championship. So, unfortunate. I don't know. I wouldn't say go back to the drawing board because I don't think that team will look the same at all next year besides Embiid and Maxey. I think you just build around that and go from there, and we'll see what happens. We've got, shout out to Jason Tatum, 51 in a game 7, historic number, great job. Was lights out. That was the ball game. Couldn't do anything about it.
Had a little bit of lag there, so I had to wait for your voice to catch up. So yeah, it was a great day. We're talking a little bit about
my connection.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's lagging pretty bad. I brought up the same token. We're going to talk a little bit here in a second about Suns coach Monty Williams, but the Suns did fire their coach Monty Williams for unexpectations. I think that the 76ers, when you look at this season, as Giannis will tell you, there is no failure in sports. Sometimes you just don't make it to the end. But I mean, I think that this has to be I think this is a blow up situation. I think it didn't work for whatever reason. But my biggest question is, does Doc Rivers stay?
No, I could see Doc moving on or leaving. I think Doc's a great coach. Somebody told me last night that Doc Rivers is the worst coach in NBA history. And I think that's a pretty strong statement.
That had to be Chad, right?
I think it was Christian, actually. He said it's because Doc Rivers has historically, repeatedly done the least with the most. He's always had the most talent. He's always done the absolute least, except for if you look at his time in Boston with Kevin Garnett as well, some other guys. So listen, I think Doc's a good coach. I don't know what happens when he gets up in series, but it seems to kind of fall apart. I don't know if it's a lack of adjustments or being able to move pieces around in a manner that you want to, but I don't know. Tough.
It's funny you say that. So, I mean, outside of Boston, right, when he had Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, I believe, right? Then he won the chip there. He hasn't won any other chips, correct? That's been it.
No, but and my argument back to Christian was that he did the most with the least amount of talent when the Orlando Magic were 41-41 on that heart and hustle team, where it was basically Darrell Armstrong, Bo Outlaw, and Pat Garrity raining down threes, and somehow they ended up being 500 and being a scrappy team, which catapulted him into getting better jobs as well too. So
17 and from Marcus off YouTube, 17-33 in clinching games is his record now. But yeah, to your point, I mean, like you said, lost his last game 7s, 2000, all of them, 2015, 17, 20, 21, and now 2023, 6-10 in game 7s, in a complete, like we said, just a abysmal record on closeout games. But like you said, I mean, it goes to show that once I kind of put Doc Rivers in sometimes of like the NFL coaching carousel, right? So coach gets a head coaching job, has a good year, wins the chip, wins the Super Bowl, whatever. That when that guy gets fired, there's always somebody else ready to scoop him up, right? Like especially like offensive coordinator. Like once you get to a level of that you have proven yourself in the league, no matter if it doesn't fit here, they're like, well, he can fit over here better though. He'll fit over here better. And I think the Clippers was another example to me where he had a lot of talent as well over there in LA, didn't really do it. Now we're in Philadelphia, didn't really do it. But what a painful way for the 76ers to end their series.
It sucks, man. Yeah, I think they have the better team too, and it just sucks. They're up in the series. You have them right where you want them. You have a chance to put your foot on their neck and just squeeze it and turn it and put them to bed. And you let Jason Tatum go off for 4 threes in 3 minutes to beat you in Game 6, and then you allow Jason Tatum to go off for 51 in Game 7. Inexcusable.
And we talked about that a little bit. And, obviously, I said, going back to Boston, and of course you said as well, it's not ideal. You still thought that they could overcome it. In the first half, it sure looked like they could overcome it. I mean, like I said, they were doing well. And then all of a sudden, that second half, that high pick and roll where they put Jason Tatum with Embiid, and he just completely destroyed him, which, Embiid's not going to be able to keep up with that. So we'll see. So Celtics moving on to the finals, along with the Miami Heat, who just continue to win. Continue to, I guess, prove us wrong. Bunch of scrappers. We did think that they were going to finish off the Knicks this series. We didn't think it was going to go back to Miami. But, the last game, it was a little close, 96-92. The Heat win by 4, but Jimmy Buckets, everybody. Bam Adebayo had a great game as well. The support players are all hitting the threes, doing the things that they need to do to continue to move on. So now we have the Heat versus the Celtics, and as Justice has been waiting for, who is going to stop his Miami Heat? And I am still going to pick against your Miami Heat, Justice. I think that the Boston Celtics get this done as well. I just don't think that you have the depth to match up with the Boston Celtics, plus the home court as well. There's something about playing in the Garden. What are your thoughts on with the Miami Heat, Mr. Jeffrey?
I would love to take the Heat here, just out of
spite.
Yeah, just I don't like Boston, but I can't because like Boston's got 10 guys on their team that would all start and be the number 2 option to Jimmy Butler on the Heat. Just is what it is, which sucks to say, but their roster is just so much better construction wise. Now maybe Spo can figure something out, but I think Jimmy Butler's going to have massive Jimmy Butler games like he did against the Milwaukee Bucks in that series. I think you're going to need a cold shooting spell from Tatum and from Brown as well, and I just don't see that being able to happen. So I will say that I think the Celtics probably win and probably move on to the NBA championship.
And out of the West side, who are they going to face? Well, the Lakers did take down the Warriors. Again, as Jeffrey already alluded to, that was his pick as well as Jeremy's. My Phoenix Suns were already bounced. Whatever. It is what it was. The biggest takeaways that I got from the Warriors is, one thing that Steve Kerr said is he said that this team wasn't a championship team at the end of this series. He said they were fighting just to stay in the playoffs the entire time, and this was just not a championship caliber team. Now, while he may be right, what kind of sentiment does that resound through the locker room when your coach basically says you guys weren't the team that could have ever competed for this championship anyway?
Well, I think that should go back to the guys who were the problem in the locker room and what happened with that. That's the big divide.
We're really talking about Jordan Poole, correct?
Yeah, supposedly it's a Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, and I think there's one other person who are upset with the amount of playing time or reps that they've been getting. I think that's who he's referring to in terms of when you go for a championship, you shouldn't be locked in or worried about how many minutes you're playing. You shouldn't be saying in the media after the game, well, I don't know, ask somebody else. I only got 10 minutes of burn tonight, so, I can't really be held accountable for this. Everybody is held accountable for it. It's a team game. You need all 12 guys in sync, in unison, trying to sacrifice everything they can to win the game. The Warriors did not have that, and the guys who are the problem, unfortunately, have gotten paid. a la Jordan Poole. I don't know where he's going to go from here. Seems like a very talented kid, but he's got a lot of baggage. Way too overconfident, in my opinion. Yeah, that's just kind of where I land on that. More of him calling out players individually about their own personal mindset in the game than it is about the talent that's on that team, because it's pretty much the exact same team that they had the year before.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I agree with the fact of what you're talking about as far as who he's talking about. But to me, why not just say it? Why not just say it?
I think there is a certain amount of couth when it comes to that. He's been in the league for a long time, obviously.
Right, but I mean, on the same token, you basically just told everybody that you're not championship team. Okay, so that's kind of like, everybody, one person screws it up for everybody. Everybody gets in trouble, right? Well, this is why we can't have nice things anymore. This is why we can't do this because one person made a mistake, did this, that, and the other. I 100% agree with you. The fact that Jordan Poole got on the mic and said, well, I only played for 10 minutes. There's much of an impact I can make. Absolutely, there's an impact that you can make. Look at, DiVincenzo.
Look at Lonnie Walker.
Look at
Lonnie Walker for the Lakers.
Look at
13 points in 10 minutes.
Absolutely. Pritchard, of Boston when he came in, regardless, dude's flying around the court. Flying around the court, man. Just happy to be out there. And I think that's sometimes what happens to these guys, especially when they get talent and they do make a little bit of money, then it's just the woe is me crap. But yeah, absolutely, Jordan Poole. You can even see it when he got in there, especially this last game, because when he did play, the type of shots that he was throwing up, he was just trying to get something to get on the board to say, I scored this many points or I did this. You could tell when he was on the court, it didn't feel like any type of team synergy to me. It felt like I'm going to do whatever I can to make a name for myself. And that's how you get traded, right? Yeah. I mean, that's how you end up as Dylan Brooks. That's how you end up with that stigma on you. And if you have it, I'm sure somebody's going to scoop him up probably, or the Warriors trade him or do something of that nature. But I'm really curious to see what the Warriors do in the offseason after these remarks, to see what types of moves that they make and who do they bring in, who do they get rid of. I think it's going to be a little bit different at Warriors team. And with Clay, Brick Central, man. You went from the Splash Brothers to the Brick Bro. I don't understand what happened. He just could not hit anything, and they needed him, man. They needed him so bad. Steph Curry couldn't really get open. They were doing a lot of double teams on him. I mean, Steph was just exhausted. It looked like he was exhausted mentally and physically at the end of that game. He did everything. When Steph starts missing free throws, there's a problem. There's definitely a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they are and what happens moving forward. Should be very interesting.
And so we do have a surprise for you today. We have a special guest here that has decided to join us after one Mr. Jeffrey Schneider called him out. Our good friend Justice, he's up in Boston, so he's in Beantown country, but he's a Miami boy apparently. Miami Heat. Justice, how are we doing today, my friend?
That's a good day.
It's a good day. It's a good day to be a Heat fan. So what do you think about your Heat so far? Lay a little education on us today.
I've been trying to tell y'all from the start, since the play-in, who is stopping my Heat? Y'all doubted me, we've gotten this far. We're one series away from being in the finals, which is fine. If we lose in the finals, I don't care. But I ain't losing to Boston in the Eastern Conference Final. It ain't happening while I'm up here right now.
What's the tenor gonna be like for you? Because you're a guy who likes to go out and watch the games, and you're not the quietest guy in the room. And you're in one of the most racist cities in America, as well too. So what is your mental mindset when you're going in there? To watch your Miami Heat take on the Boston Celtics starting on Wednesday.
It's a bold statement from Jeffrey there.
To start, I'm gonna share my location with y'all throughout the next week or two.
Oh,
I definitely recommend that.
Yeah. Just send the troops, send the boys to come get me. I was even yesterday. Me and Rachel went out for dinner last night.
So tell her Happy Mother's Day, by the way, please.
Oh, of course. She's listening, so she probably heard.
Wonderful. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Rachel.
God bless you.
SHIT talk was going. I was in Miami Heat gear last night for dinner, and man, these boys is on me from across the dining room. We'll see you next week. I was like, I'm waiting. We've been resting for a couple days now. What's going on?
It's a rematch of the bubble. How do you think it plays out?
Just like the bubble.
What about the matchups? Their roster is so much better than yours.
How many for the last few weeks I've been hearing the same what about the matchups? You guys are hurt, but that fire, baby. Burning us. I'm telling you. We are the H seed. We weren't supposed to be here.
Well, the only thing I'm going to say is the Boston Celtics are going to be a far different matchup than the New York Knicks. You know, you're talking about a team that's been there. I remember going to Miami and watching the Boston-Miami Heat game when, you know, the Miami blew them out that game. But to your point and what Jeffrey's talking about, wearing Boston colors in Miami is going to be a far different experience than wearing Heat colors in Boston. A far different. I remember I wore a Cubs jersey to a Red Sox game. And I mean, they're not even in the same league, and the amount of shit talking that was happening, it was out of control.
Who had the better curse? You know?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely think that I think your Heat have, you know, a shot. You know, I also had a shot to win the lottery on Saturday night. That didn't happen. Maybe your odds are a little bit higher to beat the Celtics. But as you said, you know, you weren't even supposed to be there. This is why
I'm not gonna say nothing against that. Yeah, I know we're gonna win. It's just, I don't tell y'all. And next week when y'all bring me in after we win, I'm gonna tell y'all again who's stopping my Heat.
But then you're gonna say it's the Lakers, right? Because you said it's a bubble rematch.
Oh God. Here we go.
No, I mean, you did
a
say
bubble rematch, and you said you don't care if you lose.
Oh, I mean,
so that's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know how you could come on here and beat your drum and talk about who's stopping it, but then say you don't care if you lose. I don't know about that one. I need the passion all the way through. It's win or nothing now.
I understand what y'all are saying. Heat in 6, and if it's the Lakers or Denver, I think Denver's getting to the finals. Myself, I don't think the Lakers are going to beat Denver. I don't know. That'd be a good series too. But still, Heat in 6, probably Heat in 7 if we make it to the finals, because ain't no sweeping going on in the finals. Yeah.
We
just need
better than the Magic.
Max Strus, Gabe Vincent.
Better
all right,
than
bro.
the Magic, Jeff.
What? Why are we taking straight shots over here? You know,
you should have converted down with me. That's what I'm saying. You got the Florida State gear. I appreciate that.
I'm good.
Uh-huh.
I'm
just not perfect by any means.
Miami in my life, bro. Anything Miami in my life. I appreciate y'all. Very nice people. You know, in terms of you and some of their other fans. Shout out to Frank. Shout out to Josh. I appreciate y'all. As Miami Heat fans, and I'm happy for your success. Jeff Hall out there as well too. Another Heat fan that I love and adore. But other than that, I'm good. Hey, I did have a question for you as well too. Me and Tyson, we're talking about this a little bit pre-show, and it's transitioning into basketball off of what happened with the Ja Morant situation.
Oh, I was telling them about that yesterday. Yep.
What do you think? You know, like what do you? First of all, you know, obviously, such a terrible look. You just got in trouble for this. Now there's a video of you yesterday brandishing a firearm again in a car to rap lyrics, and you've already been suspended by the Grizzlies indefinitely. What do you think's going on in Ja's headspace right now? Like where is he at? What's going on? This comes from, you know, when we were talking the other day, we were talking about Jalen Carter, and you were like, you know, you guys are so white, which was a very funny comment. I appreciated it, and I always appreciate you engaging. But I wanted to come in and let you give your side about some of this as well too, with some context to it.
All right, where do I begin? Jeez, this kid is just—he's taking those millions that he's earning and just like throwing them right out to. Come on, man! You're into the NBA. You made it. You don't have ops. You don't have Bro, you're in the NBA. You're a superstar. Jesus Christ.
He said there are no ops whatsoever, bro. What are you talking about? Who are you trying to prove yourself to, you know?
Literally, it's like, come on, kid. Like, if even the guy that I know you guys probably saw the video. The guy, his buddy that was recording it, he immediately
tried to put the video down. Yeah,
it's like he knows. Why would you do that? We're jamming.
Well, like, we're gonna break it down a little bit more in depth here as well. But I don't think he was on. I don't think he knew he was live. But I mean, if he did, I don't know. But I mean,
it doesn't matter. Anybody throws a camera up around you and you got a gun in your hand, like immediately take the camera down. You know, all these videos are time stamped anyway on your phone when they're recorded.
Exactly.
You know, you think the NBA is not looking at everything? Like,
I don't know.
I tell everybody, even like the TikTok kids these days and all that stuff. I sound so old right now. When I was a kid in school, we just did it. He said it. Oh, I don't know him. What are you talking about? Ain't no. Did you see me do it? Is there a video of me doing it? No, we just did it. And
well, I don't know back in your day, but back in my day, we didn't have cell phones, so I was golden.
Oh man, come on! Back in your day, we were sending.
We were on dial-ups here, bro. I busted out with America Online.
We were sending pigeons, bro. We were wrapping it up. It was Game of Thrones time, you know.
Well, Justice, we appreciate you jumping on today. We're definitely going to have you back on again. Good luck to your Heat. I don't think any of us are picking them, but once again, you have the chance to prove us wrong. Come back on the show and let us know.
Justice, I appreciate you hopping on for a minute, man. Thank you, and give all the love to my family.
Have a great one, buddy.
Miss you guys. Talk to y'all soon.
Talk to you soon.
Later, bro.
So, yeah, there it is. Heat in 6. Heat in 6. You going to put your money on that one, Jeffrey?
I'd love to.
All right, Jeffrey's lagging a little bit again there. So we're gonna move on a little bit to
Spectrum. Thank you so much, Spectrum. By the way, Spectrum, I just gotta say this, bro. I pay y'all $200 a month, right? And I'm looking at my bill, and you upped my internet cost by $20 without telling me anything 2 months ago. You know what I've gotten for that? No better performance. I can tell you that right now. Proof is in the fucking pudding, Spectrum. Look what's going on.
Do you know why your bill went up by 20? Because your promotional period ended. That's how they lure you in, bro. That's it. They did the same thing to me. Yeah, it's absolutely egregious. And
you know, AT&T Fiber, bro.
I wish I could. I'm stuck here. I'm just stuck. I have no options. They partnered with the Dirty Deeds with this builder. They're the only ones that have lines in this entire area. We're screwed. So I just have to take it for what it is. So moving on to the west side, the Lakers, like we said, did take down the Warriors. We have the Lakers Nuggets next. We got Jokic versus Jeff's GOAT. Will Anthony Davis show up again? Will Austin Reeves continue his amazing performance? And will the Joker just continue to throw up balls and knock it down? This is a series that I'm looking forward to. I'm probably one of the... Well, actually, I'm not. There's a lot of LeBron haters out there. I would love nothing more than Denver to knock off this team, to put this team back into reality, and to send the Lakers back to the sidelines. Who you got in this one, Jeffrey?
I think you know who I have in this one, Tyson. I don't even know why we're asking the question, buddy.
Is your GOAT going to lead them to victory?
Lakers in 6. I mean, proof has been in the pudding the past 2 series. You know, they played higher seeded teams. You know, they played the Grizzlies to
here
start,
we go with
then
the
Warriors.
seeding.
They played the Grizzlies, then they played the Warriors. Now they're going to go on and play the Nuggets, the number 1 team in the West. This is, you know, listen, they've done it all without LeBron James having to be absolutely spectacular, which is the scary part about how good their team is if you look at it.
Well, I will say
other guys contributing.
Absolutely. I will say LeBron has showed up only when he's had to, and he hasn't really had to a whole lot. But we all know, like you said, that turn on the knob is there if needed.
It's there when, like, because we saw it happen, right? Like in like the third quarter of Game 6 against the Warriors this few days ago, where he just decided, you know what, it's time. I'm gonna make sure that this does not get back into contention. Boom! I'm taking the ball to the rack every time I'm getting fouled. I'm flexing on people. I'm putting a crown on my own head. You know, doing all these things. I've been more impressed with LeBron's defense, I would say, in this series than I have anything. I thought he's been the catalyst and the leader of that team, but he's allowed other guys to step up and shine, whether it be Rui, whether it be Reeves, whether it be D'Angelo Russell, whether it be Lonnie Walker, you know, who he's shown confidence in as well too. Anthony Davis has been a monster on the inside when he's wanted to. I would expect that same thing to happen. It's very interesting because they can just pretty much play Jokic and AD at the same time. There's no backups that they have to worry about coming in and worrying about rotational pieces. So as long as they both stay out of trouble, we will see both of them on the court. Talking about one of the best defenders against one of the historically the best centers that we've seen offensively, probably since Hakeem Olajuwon. Absolutely incredible. With that being said, give me Lakers in 6. Absolutely, I think they have a better team, a bigger, a team that's been there before, as well too. As long as those guys can keep on hitting outside jump shots, I think that they'll be just fine.
Well, who wins the matchup? So we got AD versus Jokic, right? I mean, those are the two. They're going to be on each other. They're going to be guarding each other. Who wins that matchup in particular?
I think it depends on what you define winning as, right? Is winning holding Jokic to, 20 points, 8 rebounds and 7 assists? Because to me, I think that's a win. As long as Jokic isn't going off for 35, 15 and 10, then I think you've accomplished what you need to accomplish. So I think winning is going to be measured in different terms than just who scores more points, who has more rebounds, who does this and this. It'll be interesting to see what kind of game plan Darvin Ham has as well, too, because we all know Jokic has caused teams a lot of trouble when they've been able to bring AD, a guy like Anthony Davis, outside. Like I said, I'd like to see them do more of that kind of matchup where if he does flow, you bring a Jared Vanderbilt or a Rui Hachimura over, make sure they stay down there long enough to be able to kind of contend and then let AD just kind of guard the paint as he's done so far in the series.
And so from the other side, with Joker on AD, what would a win look like that for Joker?
What would a win for Joker
Well,
look
yeah,
like?
you just kind of said, how Anthony, a win would be Joker, 20 points, only 8 rebounds. So on the other side, if I have Joker going AD, what would be considered, hey, he did a good job, shut down AD here?
The reason is because I don't think AD is necessarily the offensive focal point of what the Lakers need to do every time they come down the court. So I think that winning looks different as opposed to just winning that matchup. I think they just need Anthony Davis to play great defense because Jokic is literally the entire Nuggets offense, right? Catches the ball on the high post. He's throwing handoffs, backdoor cuts. He's taking the ball to the hoop. He's shooting outside jump shots. He is their offense, and everybody revolves around, I forget what the word is, like a magnet, right? Where he's in the middle and everybody orbits around him. Thank you so much. I would appreciate that.
I would agree with you, but we also talked about numerous times throughout the last series how AD needed to step up, how AD needed to be that guy, right? And we saw the games that Anthony Davis also excelled, 25 points, 20 rebounds, 28 points, 18 rebounds are the games the Lakers really took over the game and controlled. So while I agree with you that the Lakers have a lot of other offensive options out there, I think shutting Anthony Davis down puts the weight back on LeBron and the rest of the cast, which, what we talked about before is that's not really what the Lakers want. The Lakers wanted Anthony Davis. They needed Anthony Davis to be the primary scorer. So we think maybe shifting on this series that he doesn't necessarily need to be that primary scorer, that he just needs to be the lockdown defensive guy and kind of supplement LeBron and the rest of the team.
I think for me, a win for Anthony Davis is I can tell based off the way that you're playing the game of basketball. When Anthony Davis plays timid basketball and is not the aggressor, in most accounts, he looks like the AD that we hate to watch, right? When AD comes out with that fire, that passion, and wants to be the best player on the court and plays and acts like he's the best player on the court, the stats are going to all fall in line after that because he's such a talented kid.
I agree. So we both have seen when Anthony Davis wants to be out there, what he can do. My biggest fear with Anthony Davis with this Lakers matchup is obviously it's going to be a very physical matchup. Joker is a bigger body. He's going to be all over him. There's going to be a lot of bumping. Joker just doesn't seem to wear. He just continues to trot up and down, do his thing. I see Joker, if the matchups continue and that inside game is what we've seen throughout the playoffs, if Anthony Davis wears down, right, or gets to that point, I think that's when you're going to see the Lakers struggle. It's, and that's where I give the advantage to the Nuggets. And to your point, the Lakers do have a more in-depth team, if you want to say, or more support players that have been stepping up. Austin Reeves has just been absolutely insane. And what's the other guy? D'Angelo Russell? Is that, he needs to step up as well. But like I said, I'm excited for this matchup, man. I'm excited to see Davis and Joker just go at each other all game long and really see how that affects the tempo of the game. And I really think that is going to determine the series. Those two matchups. If Anthony Davis, as to your point, can shut down, you're not going to shut down Joker, but if he can hold them between 15 and 20 points, I think that's going to bode very well for the Los Angeles Lakers, and you're going to see them continue to run away with games if that happens. On the other side, I think if Joker can hold down Anthony Davis and keep him 10 points, and more importantly, under that 12 rebound category where we're not getting all of those extra possessions, I think that's where you're going to see the Nuggets excel and be able to close out the series as well. So really good. I think we got some great matchups here with the Heat Celtics, with the Nuggets. And I mean, it's not what we said, not what we thought was going to happen. But then again, it's the playoffs, shit happens, and here we are. But at least, we're coming to the end of the stretch. It's a bubble matchup. What's going to happen when we actually have home courts, we have fans? I don't think you're going to see as easily as a performance as we saw in the bubble. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what these matchups take place.
You'll like this. I have a fun little bet with Ian. Obviously, Ian being somebody who absolutely hates LeBron James, and me being, I'm a fan of LeBron. I like LeBron. But so he's got the Nuggets. I got the Lakers. Whoever wins the series has to work for the other person for one night in the restaurant that we work at and give that person half the money that they make the entire night.
I think it should be full. Give them the whole pot.
Yeah, but I mean, we got kids,
we got kids.
I'm not trying to tag this man for $500, $600, $700, $800. You know what I mean? So,
well, as we close out,
couple's fine.
As we close out the NBA talk, Justice brought up another good point on YouTube, which is something that I wanted to talk. Justice said he forgot to mention, I hope they let some of these fouls go for the Celtics, Miami. I want a good physical series. We want that through all of it. But one of the things I really think the NFL, that's how bad this is, the NBA needs to address is if it's a foul, it's a foul. We're seeing so many late calls to where a player goes up and shoots, and the referee literally waits to see if the ball goes in or not. If it doesn't go in, they call the foul. If it goes in, they play on. And, when we're talking about this type of thing, we saw the Jaylen Brown incident, where it was a double technical, and the ref is literally standing right there waiting to see how it plays out before he calls something. If it's a foul, it's a foul. And to Justice's point, everybody wants to see it play, right? In the finals, the conference finals, the finals. Nobody wants it to be tournament. Obviously, you can't have just a hackathon out there or people trying to get hurt. But on the same token, as we've talked about numerous times, every play you could call a foul. There's just every play you could call a foul. And every player thinks that they're fouled. But to his point, let's keep it physical, and if it's a foul, it's a foul. None of this delayed calls, none of this, hey, let's wait and see if it goes in. If it's a foul, it's a foul. Give him the and one then, because, I mean, it is what it is. That's my little take on that. I don't know if you've been seeing any of those calls. I thought that the Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston game to start was absolutely egregious in the first half with the calls that they were making and not calling. It was weird. As we've always said, right? Let's just keep it consistent from the start. Let them play, and let's keep it consistent throughout the whole series.
We want to see superstars playing against superstars. Do not give me Anthony Davis and Nikola Jokic in foul trouble, please. I don't want to see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown or Jimmy Butler not being able to be on the court because you want to be the star of the show. Let them play.
Absolutely. And to wrap it up, just to kind of put a bow on the Ja Morant thing here, and we talked about it with Justice a little bit here, and as Justice said, you're an NBA superstar. What are you doing? Regardless, and I'm a Second Amendment guy, if you want to call it that. I think it's also hilarious, not hilarious, but it's funny to the point where you're allowed to carry a firearm, right? If it's registered properly. And now in Florida, you just have to register the gun. You don't even have to get a concealed weapons permit. And you're allowed to carry that gun for protection for yourself if you're in imminent danger, threat, or, someone is attacking you and you're in fear for your life, or there could be great bodily injury. Now, the thing that I think is kind of weird is the fact that you're allowed to carry a gun to protect yourself. But if you get into that situation to where somebody is threatening your life, or has made a motion that they're going to cause great bodily harm, and you brandish said gun, that's illegal. If you say, hey, look, I have the means to protect myself, you might want to back off, that's illegal. But if you're starting to get the beat down, then you can do it. But to Justice's point, man, you're in the NBA. You're a superstar. You're about ready just to get the. I mean, I think he's still on his rookie contract, correct?
I think he got re-signed already.
Got re-signed. You got the bag. I mean, what are you doing? But this goes back to the point. A lot of you've seen a lot of superstars, that come up through whatever system they've come up, their friends that they've come up, and as they continue to gain success, they bring the friends along with them, and some of them aren't the best influences, some of them are, and that's where you see a lot of issues have. I just hope that, again, everybody loves superstars. We want to see what's going on. You just need to get the right people around him, man. I don't know. I don't know what you say about that.
Yeah, I mean, for just an egregious move, bro. Like, your boy's trying to save you from doing that. Like, you don't need to be throwing up your gun. There's no point to put yourself, like I said before, a couple episodes ago, the more times you put yourself in high risk situations, the more likely you are to, have a negative thing happen. So quit putting yourself in situations around weapons, around people, around drugs. Like, just stop doing it. Find other enjoyment in your life. And in my opinion, I know he's already suspended indefinitely by the Grizzlies. The NBA is going to come down harshly on this.
Very harsh.
I think he will have trouble with his endorsement with Nike. I think that will definitely come into play. My worry is that, let's say you suspend the kid half the year next year, right, for doing this. Well, now you're taking him out of the structured environment that he's been a part of that keeps him out of trouble, and throwing him into an environment of a guy with a lot of money who, likes to flash weapons and jewelry and everything like that. Now you're throwing him into that environment for 6 months. Is that a recipe for disaster? I don't know what the right answer is here. There's people who are way more educated and, do this for a living that can probably figure it out with coinciding with the NBA and with the Memphis Grizzlies to get this kid some help.
Well, as we all know, if we get that, so he did sign a 5-year, $194 million contract last year. Yeah. He's already lost $39 million because he didn't make an All NBA team, which he could have. And to Marcus's point, Marcus, and this isn't a fact check, I'm just repeating what this comment. His mom bought him his first gun at 15 or 16. Like, what? I mean, but that was it could have been his way of, like you said, it's his way of life. That's all he's known growing up. You think about the South Side Chicago, one of the heavily, murder rate that there is. And, when you grow up in that environment and that's what you see every day, you become a part of it and it becomes a part of you. And to your point and what you're talking about, getting out of this situation, unfortunately,
Marcus, I'm going to say this, right? I whatever happened at 15 or 16 years old, that is not his current situation anymore. His current situation is he is a multi-hundred millionaire, right? Millions and millions of dollars. You have people around you that can handle firearms for you and that can protect you, that are properly trained in that line of work, okay? If you really think that and listen, to Justice's point about there's no ops, right? There's no opposition that's out here trying to get you. And if you did think that there was some kind of an opposition that was out here trying to get you, you have professional security to help you with that.
Yeah. No, Marcus is on your side. He's just, that's what I'm saying. He's like, it's his way of life that he grew up with that he needs to get away from.
You have to. Okay, my bad. I'm like,
yeah. I saw you getting ready to go on it, bro. I was like, no.
Not justifying this, dude.
Yeah.
Same thing when athletes drive drunk or get DUIs or,
Henry Ruggs
kids make mistakes. Jalen Carter. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? If I could afford to have somebody who drove me around everywhere.
Or if I did want to drive my Ferrari, it would be absolutely sober. But
absolutely. I'm not operating these cars like, oh gosh, it's frustrating and infuriating to me.
It really is. And but to our point, this is sometimes the dream of some of these kids, especially they come from a low income, they grow up and with the opportunity they get this, they get it, and You know, it's the life that they've had the entire way, all that they've known. And to your point, yes, you've made the bag now. You should be able to leave some of this stuff behind, but sometimes it's hard for people to leave that life behind. And this is what ended up, you know, like we talked about driving Henry Ruggs. I mean, he was going to be a premier wide receiver in the league. Future looked bright. Now he's facing 20 years. You know, it's just bad decisions, man. And not to say that I'm going to sit up here and say I didn't make any bad decisions. I sure as hell did. Made a lot of bad decisions. Lots of bad decisions.
So didn't bless me with the talent to be a top 10 player in the NBA. So my decisions and your decisions should look very different. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whew. That was heavy right there, eh? Little heavy talk there. Well,
that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here, bro.
I appreciate Justice and Buff and everybody chiming in and being a part of the conversation, you know? This is what we want. We want everybody to be a part of the conversation.
It's a very interactive show. It's one of the most interactive shows that you'll ever be a part of, where the fans have a voice. No matter how big it gets, fellas, and this is the way it's going to be when there's millions and millions of people watching, as there is almost right now, you will always have a voice on the Uninformed Fan. Moving on, little NHL action. The Kraken Force Game 7. I do believe that is going to be
tonight. Tomorrow.
No, tomorrow.
I don't think we have anything on tonight.
No, wait a minute. Nope, it is tonight. Game 7 is tonight. Vegas was last night who clinched. So we have the conference finals coming up. The Carolina Hurricanes versus our Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. And whoever wins the game tonight between the Kraken and Dallas will settle off for the Western Conference Finals. As you can probably imagine, I will be rooting for the Florida Panthers, although it is kind of cool to see the Kraken in there as an expansion team.
Give me the Kraken, man. I don't know. As somebody, the Kraken have been there for, 2 years? You know, like, that's such a fun, cool thing, man.
Isn't it? Seattle. What a town. And as we follow up, we do have some sad news to bring you. The legend behind the poker table, Mr. Doyle Brunson, has passed away, I do believe, last night. If you don't know who he is, absolutely legend in the poker industry. Multiple world champion. You know, one of his best sayings is, you know, the Texas Hold'em was the only pure form of poker out there to be able to put your opponent against all of his chips in one single hand. So, R.I.P. to the legend over there.
I love it. As somebody who I love playing poker, I love everything about the game, and somebody who grew up watching Poker After Dark, if you know what I'm talking about on Poker After Dark, it was, you know, a show that came on. We'd get off work or whatever. You get home around 1 a.m., boom, throw on. It's on NBC. Good to go. Texas Dolly was always on there. He made the 10 Deuce famous. He had one of the best sayings, though, and it was in the opening of it. And he said, "We don't stop playing because we get old. We get old because we stop playing. Never stop playing." Rest in peace.
Never stop playing, boys. And I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that to the golf course.
Are we back? Are you back?
No, I'm not back.
Oh.
Eventually, I'll be back.
Shout out to Jason Day as well too. Wells Fargo. You know, one country club. You know, the Gap Wedge Wednesday boys hit once again. You know, with the double down on the Australian and Asian connection that we have out there. So, you know,
it's funny because I go through now and I look at just like the top 10 picks, right? Like as far as the best odds, and you could literally, and you could see it from my picks. You could literally this week, and only this week is the one I've seen it. I think I left out who's the world number one again? Scotty Scheffler. I left him out, but I was able just to go one through 10 basically.
2 through 11 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
get all 10 in.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. It will be so. Wednesday will be interesting as well too. I know Paul is traveling as well. Paulie Parputz is traveling, so we might have a dual Gap Wedge Wednesday with a quick snippet from Paulie Parputz early, and then Country Club Chad coming in at the very end to bring it home with his picks for the PGA Championship.
I was going to say, do we have a good tournament this week?
We have a good tournament this week. It's the PGA Championship.
That's good. Some of these other filler tournaments, man.
Well, I feel like we just got into that little rut right there. It's this, the build up. You hit Mother's Day. We made it through. everything, and then now it's kind of smooth.
I think this is why I kind
of
stopped watching golf, is like, except for the majors. Now, for those of you who don't know, I used to be very huge into golf, very, very huge, and it just got to the point where it didn't really feel like the players really cared unless it was a major, and that's kind of my attitude that I got. So that's why I was so geeked for the Masters.
But that's also why they've done the elevated events now, where it's more prize money, it's more FedEx points and stuff like that, so that it still has that same feel, of it is an elevated event, and that's why
I am a live guy.
As well,
I'm a live guy, Jay Swin, and shout out to Dustin Johnson for winning the live tournament this week. Nice little nice little $4 million prize pool. Good job there, buddy. Keep it up.
I had no idea, to be honest with you. I knew everybody who was in the top standings of the PGA Tour event, but I didn't even know that Liv was playing in Tulsa.
Well, I saw it on Twitter.
But we will get those guys added back into the fold here for the majors, so that'll be fun as well.
Absolutely. Dustin Johnson coming off a win, going in there. We saw what happened the last time that Brooksy had a win coming in. You never know.
Yep.
You never know. Well, on that note, I hope everybody has a great week. We'll be back on Wednesday for Gap Wedge Wednesday. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy life. Get out there, make something possible, and keep playing.
Always keep playing. Be great.
See you guys later.